Lord Kalki is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is to appear at the end of Kali Yoga. There are many persons who claim that the Kalki avatar has already come or that he is at the present moment on the earth.
As we have seen in the beginning of this presentation, the Puranas emanated at the beginning of our universe. All histories are therefore spoken before their actual occurrence. The Kalki Purana speaks of the pastimes of the Lord that are yet to come.
When you read the Kalki Purana, he is prophesied as the Kalki avatar. And it's mentioned there that his father's name will be Vishnu Yas. Vishnu means God, Yas means servant, servant of God. If you translate to Arabic, it's Abdullah. The father of the name of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was Abdullah.
Dr. Zakir Naik purposefully avoids mentioning that Vishnu Yasa is a Brahmana who fostered his son Kalki in taking Brahmanical initiation, studying the Vedas and performing Vedic sacrifices for the pleasure of Lord Hari. My dear child, I will now arrange for your sacred thread ceremony so that you can chant the Gayatri mantras and begin your study of the Vedas. Being thus ordered by his father, Lord Kalki very humbly said, I will worship Lord Hari by performing the Rajasuya, Ashvamedha and other sacrifices which are prescribed in the Karmakanda sections of the Vedas, so that everyone can advance in the three objectives of life, religiosity, economic development and sense gratification.
His mother's name will be Sumathi. Sumathi means serenity, peaceful. If you translate Arabic, it means Amina. The name of the mother of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was Amina.
Dr. Naik has also cunningly evaded to point out Mother Sumathi's worship of cows and brahmanas, as well as her Vedic funeral. Having received the all-glorious Lord Vishnu, the master of the three worlds, as her son, Mother Sumathi's happiness knew no bounds. She invited the brahmanas and gave them each 100 cows in charity. The chaste wife Sumathi embraced the dead body of her husband and thus entered his funeral pyre. The denizens of the heaven praised her very highly for this courageous act.
Be born in a city by the name Sambala. Sambala means a place of peace and serenity. That is Makkah.
The description of the opulence and Vedic society of the city of Sambala clearly shows that it is in the city of Mecca. The entire village should be bedecked with precious jewels and crystal. Do not hesitate to display your full expertise in the art of architecture. The village was 7 yojanas across and inhabited by members of all 4 varnas. Throughout the village were memorial columns made of white marble that shone like the sun.
The last and final avatar, the last and final messenger in Hinduism is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Dr. Zakir Naik has cleverly tried to juggle some words in order to prove that the final avatar is actually Prophet Muhammad. But Lord Kalki is not a prophet, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the lotus-eyed Lord heard this request, he immediately assumed the 2-armed form. His father and mother were certainly struck with wonder upon seeing this wonderful pastime of the Lord. As we can see, just like in the appearance of Lord Shri Krishna, he appeared also in his Vishnu form in front of his parents, and then took the form of a little baby. So the Lord comes at his own free will to reestablish Dharma, eternal religion. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having assumed the form of Kalki, who is the super soul of all living entities, establish the eternal principles of religion. Having appeared in a family of Brahmanas, he will annihilate the sinful kings of Kali Yoga by the fire of the poison emanating from his ferocious serpent-like hands while riding on the back of an excellent horse of the Sindh province. In this way, he will protect the pious and re-establish Satya Yoga. From this verse we can understand that Kalki is not some prophet or another personality, none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The Kali Yoga lasts for 432,000 years. The Kali millennium is 1,200 years of the demigods. This age of Kali started 5,000 years ago after the departure of Lord Krishna. The Supreme Lord, Vishnu, is brilliant like the sun and is known as Krishna. When he returned to the spiritual sky, Kali entered this world and people then began to take pleasure in sinful activities. Lord Kalki will be coming at the end of Kali Yoga. When the Supreme Lord has appeared on the earth as Kalki, the maintainer of religion, Satya Yoga will begin and human society will bring forth progeny in the mode of goodness.
He will appear at the end of Kali Yoga to re-establish the Satya Yoga. Now, to know if the present age now is the Kali Yoga or Satya Yoga, we can take a look at a few descriptions. In the second quarter of Kali Yoga, people will no longer chant the holy names of Lord Krishna. In the third quarter of Kali Yoga, there will be an upsurge of unwanted population. And in the final quarter of Kali Yoga, there will be only one class of human being because God consciousness will have been long forgotten. At the present moment, we have passed 5,000 years in the Kali Yoga. Therefore, we have not even reached the second quarter, since it is said, people will no longer chant the holy names of Lord Krishna. In the age of Satya, your 4 legs were established by the 4 principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. But it appears that 3 of your legs are broken due to rampant irreligion in the form of pride, lust for women, and intoxication. In the modern world that we live in, everywhere there is pride, lust for women, and intoxication. Therefore, it is clear that we are in the dark age of Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel. It is impossible to say that the Prophet Muhammad is the avatar Kalki.
The only place in the Vedas where Prophet Muhammad is mentioned is in the Bhavishya Purana. Some persons claim that the Prophet Muhammad is mentioned throughout the Vedas.
In Rig Veda, book number 1, hymn number 13, verse number 3, chapter number 53, verse number 9. Book number 5, hymn number 5, verse number 2. Zakir Naik, chapter number 20, verse 37. Zakir Naik, chapter number 21, verse number 31.
Dr. Naik gives many more quotations arguing that they refer to the Prophet Muhammad. However, we shall focus only on the previously shown verses since all other quotations are based on similar arguments. In these 4 verses, the word Narashamsa, praised by man, is found. Wherever Dr. Naik could find this adjective in the Vedas, he shamelessly propagated it to mean the person of Prophet Muhammad. It is important to mention that the sukta or chapters of the Rig Veda are dedicated to particular personalities like the demigods Agni, the god of fire, or Indra, the king of heaven. In many of the verses quoted by Dr. Naik, the word Narashamsa infers to the presiding deity of the chapter. This is also true for verse 113.3, who is dedicated to Agni. The 5th chapter of the 5th mandalam or book of the Rig Veda deals with the duties of kings, of citizens, of teachers, and of householders. This 2nd verse deals with the duties of teachers and not one particular personality. The Yajur Veda contains hymns and prayers to be recited by Brahmanas during Vedic sacrificial performances. These 2 verses are part of the hymns that are to be recited during the coronation ceremony of a king. The word Narashamsa here refers to the crowned king in question. In this verse of the Rig Veda, the story of Indra defeating 20 kings and their armies is mentioned. Although the name Indra is mentioned in this chapter, and although this incident is also cited in the Vayu Purana, still Dr. Naik impudently tries to convince his audience that this refers to Prophet Muhammad. His argument being that the population of Mecca was close to 60,000 at the time that Prophet Muhammad conquered the city.
In fact, the only place in the Vedas that Prophet Muhammad is directly cited by name and that we can be sure of his identity is in the Bhavishya Purana.
Bhavishya Purana means the history which will occur in the future. Compiled 5,000 years ago, in this work we find predictions of Lord Buddha, Lord Jesus Christ, and many other personalities. It also speaks of many incidents that are yet to come. Let us now take a look at some verses describing Prophet Muhammad. After this incident, the king was accompanied by the teacher of the Mlecha Dharma named Muhammad, and Muhammad's disciples and friends. The king that is spoken of in this verse is known as Bhojaraj. He met Prophet Muhammad during his conquest of Mlecha rulers. It is important to note that here Prophet Muhammad is mentioned as the teacher of Mlecha Dharma. The term Mlecha refers to a meat-eater who cannot follow the Vedic principles of civilized men. O king, your engagement of progressive civilization, the Arya Dharma, is certainly known as the best religion amongst all varieties of religions. Still, by the order of the Supreme Lord, I am going to execute a religion in the mode of ignorance. Here Prophet Muhammad is speaking to King Bhojaraj, acknowledging that Varna Ashram Dharma is the best type of religion. This shows that Prophet Muhammad was a man in knowledge of the value of Vedic culture. This verse also shows that for some reason he is ordered by God to propagate Mlecha Dharma, which makes Prophet Muhammad an authority appointed with a specific task. But it is understood that such religious principles are of lower grades than the ones found in Vedic civilization. We are quoting the following verse to eradicate all doubts that these verses are truly speaking of Prophet Muhammad. My followers will be known by their circumcised genitals. They will have no sikha, but will have a beard, make noise loudly, and eat all kinds of animals without observing any rituals. We have thus shown that Prophet Muhammad is only referred to in the Bhavishya Purana and nowhere else in the Vedas. We have exposed how Dr. Zakir Naik is distorting the meaning of Vedic literature in order to support his biased agenda. Such devious behavior reveals Dr. Naik to be a dishonest man who lacks social manners.